Happy Bastille Day. The French Revolution in large part was driven by income disparity, as well as debt that was accrued by France to help the Americans win the American Revolutionary War against the British. But in 1789, the French had a class system called estates. The first estate was the clergy, was about 1% of the population. The second was the second estate, which was the nobility, about 1.5%. And the third estate was everybody else. And the third estate was the one that paid the majority of the taxes, including clergy taxes, feudal system taxes, and they were also very, very poor in comparison. The wealth disparity was huge. While the upper percentage, the 2.5%, did not pay that much in taxes, they also controlled 30% of the land ownership. Meanwhile, in the third estate, for a poor family, bread would take up about 80% of their income. King Louis XVI in 1789 called what's called an Estates General, a meeting of the three estates. And the third estate showed up with representation, about 600 men strong. And King Louis XVI dismissed their concerns, outvoted them, and those men made their way into an indoor tennis court in the Palace of Versailles and made a commitment to each other that they would not disband until there was a constitution. This became known as the Tennis Court Oath. Well, as there's an uprising in Paris that summer, King Louis XVI is starting to say he's going to squash this rebellion. Well, the people struck first. And on July 14th of 1789, the people stormed the Bastille. The Bastille was a fortress. It was a prison. It was a symbol of the authority and the dominance of the nobility. And the people stormed it. They took it over. They slaughtered people in there, walked out with their heads on pikes, and said for the first time, "We are France, not you. We are France." And for the first time, it called into question, is this nobility divine? Because there was a lot of influence of the church that said, well, God has put your leadership in place, so you have to do what they say. You have to submit to them, regardless of how evil that leadership might be. And this called it into question. And eventually King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were taken and killed to the guillotine. Now, the French Revolution was long and it was messy, and it certainly wasn't solved in 1799 when it officially ended. There was a period of the Jacobins and then Napoleon Bonaparte. But it was the first time that France, the nation, rose up and said, no, we want representation. This is our nation, not the nation of a few. And to compare the wealth income disparity that began the French Revolution in large part with the US, in the US right now, the top 1% take in 31% of the total economy, and the top 10% take in 65% of the economy. The bottom 50% of Americans take in 2.5% of the total economy, and we shoulder more of the taxes proportionally than the wealthy do. And we just had a bill passed that is the largest income transfer from the lowest income level to the highest income level. So I think that the French Revolution is something to keep in mind, that the world changes when people do, that everyone can be a revolutionary, everyone has a role, because while there are fighters on the front lines, we need teachers and lovers and philosophers and thinkers to also rebuild the new country we want. There's always hope. There's always a chance. There's always an opportunity for us to change the world that we want to be in. Happy Bastille Day.